And back again we are with an episode 7 of UberCast X, and this time I have lots of company. Of course, I am your host, John Blizzard, with...
Clayton Boone, also known as the alien from Alien. That's his noise, right?
Yeah, it's something like that, yeah. Joining us today, my goodness, we have more guests than we've ever thought of. Since the past few episodes, we haven't had any. This time we decided to have extras. So, how about you first, my sweet?
Annick.
Very good. And what's your thing? You're such a keener.
Yeah.
And of course, you're our resident movie expert, right?
Yes,
Our Oscar movie correspondent.
Yeah.
And today will be a lot of Oscar talk, so that's good. Also here, we've got our very special guest. Oh, jeez. Come on.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. We've got our special guest here. Just go for it. Whatever.
Good.
Yeah, no, you're good to go.
Okay, hi guys. Joel Thompson from the Thompson Family, if you've seen that television show. Anyway, awesome to be on UberCast X. This is a privilege and an honor, and I feel good.
You're welcome.
Also tea. Thank you.
Oh, yes, we are drinking tea. We'll be getting to that here in a second.
Oh, sorry.
But first, let's not forget, we have a very special guest. We've been talking about him. He's probably the person we talk about the most.
The most ever.
Most ever. He is...
Man of the hour?
He might be Walt Disney, too.
Ooh.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm Steve. I've listened to most of the episodes of UberCast X. Actually, all of them. I think there's 6, and it's
That's
real
true.
fun. I don't know much about the Oscars, but we're going to give it a shot.
Oh, Steve, you are so good at this. Clayton, get the fuck out.
Oh,
Steve's taking over.
I've been fired.
Steve, welcome aboard, my friend.
Thank you.
Now, for tea, how's everybody enjoying their tea today?
Lovely.
Good.
Very good. What do you guys have anyway? I haven't even drank mine yet.
I have Country Peach Passion.
Oh, I have that too, actually.
Do you really?
Also my nickname in high school.
Wow. That's exactly... I remember that.
You remember that?
I do remember, actually, from kindergarten, I think we started calling you that. That's good.
Pretty early on.
Oh, there you go. Annick,
Yeah.
I believe you and I are having the same one this time,
Yeah,
too.
we are. Yeah. What is it? Peach.
It's peach mango, isn't it?
Yeah. White tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
White tea.
Yeah.
Peach mango. No milk, none of that bullshit.
No, that is
White teas.
And of course, I'm drinking from my Marvel superhero mug. We've got Wolverine, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor once again. Oh, and Hulk and Spider-Man. There you go. What about your... Oh, yeah. I think you got your favorite
yeah,
mug.
I have the moldy mug that has been referred to before on the podcast. It has.
The mold mug. It definitely has. It's a popular
it
one.
looks like it has mold spots on it, but yeah, that's why I bought it.
That's honestly the truth. I
I'm
remember...
drawn to mold.
Oh, man, she was so excited about that. Now, Steve, what about yours? What mug do you have today? You got a...
It has some gold lines with some balls coming off of it.
I'm picturing.
I think it's like
something
Christmassy. It's like,
It looks
it's,
more like an old woman's blouse.
I think it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like it is a Christmas thing. It looks like something you could wrap a tree instead of a mug around.
Well, that makes sense. Well, somebody get this man a tree.
fair enough.
Cole, what do you have?
Mine is, I think you referred to it as the hipster mug.
Yeah, did I ever?
And I'm not. There's someone reading a paper on it that says Marazzato.
Wow.
I have no idea. And I think, are there shopping carts on? No, these are chairs.
Oh, are they
A bunch
chairs?
of chairs.
Stacks
Yeah.
of chairs.
Yeah, so there's just like
Oh.
one dude in front of tons of empty chairs, which is really actually quite sad.
That's actually a really depressing mug.
Yeah.
Honey, let's get rid of that one.
No.
Okay.
But the tea in it tastes so good.
Well, that's good. It makes it taste better. The sadness, you expect sadness, and now
Makes
some
all
boom,
things taste
flavor. Yeah,
Yeah.
good call. Oh my God. What do you have, sir?
King Cole with milk in a red mug. Ding! Do the ding.
You are so good at this, Boone. There's a reason you're the co-host and legend. All right, so today we have a bunch of stuff to talk about, but today is also going to be our Oscar talk episode. Whereupon we're going to kind of go through the Oscar movies, see what people here have seen. Steve, you saw none of them, right?
I saw Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, there you go. Okay, Clayton, you've only seen 2 of them. You saw Grand Budapest and American Sniper,
Yeah.
which you talked about last week.
And also, yeah, that's about it.
So what we're going to be doing, Annick is, like I say, our senior Oscar correspondent. She's going to be going through the list of the awards. Let's leave Best Picture for last, honey. And I'm thinking let's go for the other ones first. And we're going to kind of talk about each of the movies, maybe what you know about it. If you know nothing about it, then don't you dare say a word. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and say anything you might know, or if you're even interested in seeing it, for that matter. Annick, you and I have seen almost all of them. We saw the ones for Best Picture, right?
I think so.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness! Look at us, we're prestigious. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Here's pre-show event. When they show up on the red carpet, who's gonna be dressed the sleaziest? Do you think?
Oh yeah,
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry. You think?
No.
I'm gonna give it to.
5 years ago.
Is Lady Gaga nominated for anything?
No.
Wait, there's a song category.
Oh.
Ooh, maybe Rihanna will come in
Oh yeah.
with a silly
What about,
dress.
Common
I-
Common
Common?
is gonna dress up this weekend.
Common?
Yeah.
Common sense.
Yeah.
Common rules. Don't you dare
He'll
say anything
probably
about
have
my
like
man.
a toque and a beard.
He's gonna have an awesome, perfectly trimmed beard, a beautiful bald head.
Yeah.
Common sense
Okay.
rules. Oh man, that guy.
What if he just forgets all of his clothes?
I wouldn't even mind. That's a good-looking man right there.
Will they let him in, do you think?
It's common sense, man. They'd be like, well, it is a black suit affair.
I feel like, yeah, because he could maybe play it off as kind of an art exhibit. Like, you know how Shia
He
LaBeouf
probably
is
could-
always doing these, like,
Yeah.
right? So maybe he could just show up and say, this is a art thing. And,
Did you hear that he was apparently molested
Yeah.
while doing that?
During his thing where he
Yeah.
couldn't move.
Where he sat there not moving and just like crying while people like could do whatever. Apparently, some women like there was a girl who actually molested him while her boyfriend was standing outside the door,
Oh my god.
and he didn't even like say anything or do anything. And I think there's a time when art has to kind of take a backseat. You have to be like, okay, get your greasy hands off me. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can fault this woman because I feel like she was just testing the limits of the art, and he was. I guess you know I gotta give him some credit.
Maybe she was an artist too.
Yeah.
Maybe she was an artist
In
too.
her
Also
defense.
doing
In her
performing
defense.
She's
art.
like, I'm
Wow.
gonna stick like
Yeah.
3 fingers in his b-hole.
For art.
Art.
For art. Hey, if you yell out for art after you do something, maybe you can get away with anything.
Oh.
I think you
try
found
that.
a way to like fool the system.
There it is. That's the secret. Okay.
That's
so good. All right. So let's get to. Well, you know what? It's time for movie talk.
Ooh, movie talk.
Movie talk. Okay, it's movie talk, where we talk about Oscars and actually just movies we've seen in the past week. Maybe we could start with that. So in the past week, we've watched a lot of movies. Actually, I watched a lot of movies myself. What about you folks? Did you guys watch any movies this week?
I watched Kung Fu Dunk. That's the only
Yes,
one.
we did.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. So
Oh,
tell me what it's
man.
like. What
Yeah.
did you think of that?
It wasn't really perfect. Like, it was kind of funny in that, like, well, it's basically just a guy. He probably likes Stephen Chow movies, and he probably loves Shaolin soccer, and then he
I
just
love
made a
that
basketball one. And he had Uncle Tad in it, the guy from the Stephen
Oh.
Chow movies.
Yeah, Uncle Tad. I love him. He's
Yeah, basically, it was Joel was there too. Actually, it was
You
just a
saw- I was
guy
there.
who was
Did you watch the whole thing?
he
too?
watched it. He
Yeah,
wasn't
I
just
did.
there.
What did you guys think of it anyway? Like, did you like it?
I
Yeah.
don't think that the producers, the filmmakers, had ever watched a game of basketball, though. That's maybe one of the problems. 'Cause they legit were kung fu fighting on the basketball court, and the referee.
They don't do that.
Well,
I've seen Shaq Fu. Oh wait, I played Shaq Fu. Isn't that not how it goes?
yeah, I mean, you know.
Okay.
You know, but no, I don't know. I thought it was okay. It's
I wouldn't
very
say I
emotional
didn't
for me.
enjoy it. Like,
Wait,
it
were
was
they
fun
passing
to watch,
right?
but
Like passing and dribbling and...
to
some
some
of
extent, I
fouls?
think there was like a backcourt violation in there somewhere. There's tons of fouls that they shouldn't have not called.
Guys, can you answer me this? Did they do any slam dunks?
I'd say they did.
A lot of them.
They did some slam dunks.
Kung fu
okay.
slam dunks, actually.
Kung fu
It had a
slam
great
dunks.
soundtrack too. There was like some great like
Raza?
Hong Kong music that like
Oh.
just got you amped.
Oh, got you amped.
Yeah, there was one that kept saying, what was it, tofu, or something like that. We couldn't figure out what they were saying, but it sounded like tofu or Goku maybe.
Goku.
Yeah, it was Goku.
Oh, Goku, eat tofu!
That could have been the lyrics.
Oh, that's great.
There was actually like a scene that was like obviously paying homage to Shaolin soccer, and that like he picks up a soccer ball. He's like, "Hey, why don't you use your kung fu to play soccer?" And he's like, "I don't know how to play soccer. How about basketball?"
That's okay. You know what? That sounds actually kind of charming. But yeah, the fact they got Uncle Tat, like an actor who's in Stephen Chow movies, always. I didn't remember which one he was called Uncle Tat in, but we've always called him that. But he, like, it just sounds to me like those guys watch Shaolin Soccer and they're like, hey, we could do something like that. Let's make money off this. And then, so they just went with a different sport, and then they even got Uncle Tat, and they went as far as they could to be just like that.
Yeah. I would say if you have watched Shaolin Soccer and you liked it, you liked kind of the goofiness of it.
Yeah.
Then I would probably recommend checking out Kung Fu Dunk because it's really goofy and
Yeah.
silly, but
I'd watch
it's
it.
kind of fun.
It sounds good. Sounds
The
good.
hairdos are worth it.
Oh, there you
The hairdos
go.
alone are worth it. So.
Were they very Asian?
Yes, and the main character is very like he's kind of doing the whole Bruce Lee style.
Oh,
Yeah, there's always
yeah.
a guy with the Bruce Lee haircut in
You
most
need
kung
that.
fu movies.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, very good. You guys watch anything else?
Well, we just recently watched The Babadook, right? That was.
Oh yes,
yeah.
we did.
So I mean,
Oh, I
I think
love
you guys
that.
had already talked about that. Maybe
We talked about it a bit, but no, I'd like to hear your take on it. Actually, you never saw it last week either.
No, I didn't.
So now Clayton.
Okay.
Actually, every person in this room has seen the Babadook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we all have. Okay.
So we're all Babadooked.
Uh-oh.
No.
Babadook.
Oh, that was so good. So what'd you guys think of that? Steve, what'd you think of it?
I'm not really a big horror movie person, and like I found it not perfect. But
That's fair. That's very fair, buddy. If you're not a horror guy,
Like,
I mean, it's
not a horror guy, but like there's not much action in the movie, and like I realize not everybody's going for that.
That's
but-
true.
but,
No, I
like,
agree.
What do you think of
Basically,
Lord of the
nothing
Rings,
happens.
Steven?
Oh, Lord of the Rings is great.
But yeah, Lord of the Rings is kind of Steven's. Is that your favorite?
Yeah, I like that and Life Aquatic, and
At least we can share that.
But yeah,
there's,
Babadook.
There's a few movies out there.
So, Babadook, what do you think?
Babadook. Well, it's fun to say.
Bob Boduke. So, what do you think of Bob Boduke, Joel?
I liked it. I actually did. I thought it was good. I mean, I've seen enough horror movies, and I would call myself somewhat of a horror movie buff to a
Aficionado?
degree.
Yeah, totally. I like that word,
and-
aficionado.
Aficionado. You can call me a fish. Anyway, ding.
You call me aficionado. Anyway,
I want a ding.
do it.
Darn it.
There it is. Okay.
Pop Tarts already. So yeah, I thought it was an original concept.
Yeah.
Because they're doing something that's kind of been done before.
They
in
are.
horror movies, like monster movies / like creepy something going on in the house and you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But
And also like psychological shit.
Psychological,
Could be
big
anything,
time.
like, oh, am I fucked up in the head?
Yeah.
Is this real?
yeah,
I mean, what did you think, hon? Where did you think the movie kind of stood, and like, what did you think it was?
I liked it. I liked that the entity or the dog, I suppose, wasn't really like something I'd seen before. It just was kind of a weird creature thing.
Yeah, he
And
really was cool
I
looking.
thought that was original. Like I'd never seen a similar creature in a horror movie. Not that I know. I don't know that much about horror, but
Totally.
what I've seen, it was pretty original. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like it was advertised as more of like a horror, like a fun horror movie. That may be where the shortcoming lies. I feel like they really made it look like it was gonna be like just like a sit down, like, oh, this is so fun, this is so scary. Which there were times where it was a fun, scary movie.
I was genuinely creeped out at certain
Oh yeah, it has a really good tension to it. Like you could cut that with a knife. But like I'm with you, Steven. I mean, for like you don't even have anything like horror related or exciting. Kind of exciting. You know what I mean? For like an hour into the movie.
Yeah, it was slow.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, but I mean, it's a good build. It does work. It's just like if you're looking for this and you get that, you usually get disappointed, right? So I'm saying from the advertisements, I was expecting more excitement. I still loved it, and I feel the whole thing's just more instead of it being like, I don't know. I don't think it's like symbolic or anything like that. I feel like the whole movie is like metaphoric, just for like a concept.
Yeah, it's just telling people not to have kids, basically.
That's basically it.
Oh.
Now, Lord Boone, you finally saw it. Last week I more or less said you might love it, you might hate it. I don't know. You might hate it because it's not crazy enough. You might love it because it's crazy. I don't know, and it kind of goes both ways. But what did you think of it? Because you finally get to watch it.
Too.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it. It had a nice sinister feel to it.
Yeah, the movie Sinister. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, it was good.
How'd you like the Babadook anyway?
He
What'd you think of him?
He looked really.
It was a cool monster. Like,
He was perfect.
because they didn't show too much. A lot of times horror movies nowadays, they keep it suspenseful, but then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, here's our monster."
Yeah.
He just
And when you
pops
see it,
out and
It's either too much CG,
Yeah.
thrust in your
or
face.
already been done. Whatever. I like how this monster was ambiguous. Like we weren't sure. Does it have wings? Does it have
Yeah.
like what's going on with this
I
thing?
don't even know to this moment,
Yeah.
and that's the cool thing. They kept it to themselves, you know.
He has a mouth.
Yeah.
Do we know that
Yeah, I think you see it.
at the very end?
It's like he has
He
different
says-
forms.
He says things.
Oh, he says things. There you go. I don't know. I just
It's coming from
You can
somewhere.
bring me the boy.
Yeah.
You can bring me the boy. That was so creepy.
I love that because that was even in the trailer, right? When
Yeah.
you showed me the trailer, I was like, "Oh, that has such a cool feel to it."
The voice. I still think my favorite part of the movie, and this is not really spoiler territory. There's a part where Babadook's kind of made the presence known and everything, and the lady's like having a sleep-induced kind of coma. She's watching TV, and she's not really paying attention, but she kind of is, and he keeps appearing in the stuff she's watching.
yeah.
That is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time.
Like,
It's like old movies, like old black and white like movies. I want that as a screensaver on my computer, just playing on loop. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's just like seeing him pop up all of a sudden, and I was like, oh god, he looks cool. He actually fits too.
And to
So-
be honest, too, had seen a lot of Australian cinema.
Yeah.
And another thing,
Wolf
to comment
Creek's
to
the only
how
one,
good
yeah.
I thought it was also the fact that I think it was a first-time feature for the director.
It was a Kickstarter campaign for crying out loud.
So it had started
Good for
as
her.
a short film, and then they made a feature film, and it was a cartoon, right?
Yeah, they did some sort of cartoon thing, I believe. Yeah.
No, I'm wrong. That's the Halloween one.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
Trick or
we watched
Treat.
Trick or Treat.
Yeah, we watched a lot of horror movies
recently. Yeah, for some reason that's just the kick we're on. But yeah, and also, Annick, you love this one.
What?
It was a woman. A
Yeah,
female director, right?
Female director, yeah.
Well, there you go.
yeah.
So respect to that. I mean, I gotta say, like, well, that kind of shows because, like, I feel like it took more of like a thought process, emotional angle on the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Where instead of it being about like the scare, it's more about the feeling. And I gotta say, maybe that's what she brought to the table that was different than what we usually get. But I did like it a lot because it's different.
Me too.
Okay, what else? Did you guys see anything else?
Oh shoot.
I probably watched Life Aquatic again. I watch that most weeks.
Me too.
Didn't we?
Yeah, we watched it like a week and a half
I
ago.
watched it with Ben, and you came in halfway
You know what
through.
we watched recently? House Guest.
Oh yeah, House Guest.
Guest.
Do you guys remember
That was
that
a couple
film?
weeks ago.
I don't think so.
With,
Oh, it's just an old Sinbad and Phil Hartman movie.
Sinbad.
Oh yes.
And like he keeps eating hamburgers and
Because he convinces the guy he's pretending to be is a vegetarian. So of course the whole movie Sinbad's like just craving a burger. Anyway,
Gotcha.
bad movie.
Very
But good. You know, it's one of those movies that you have.
well, like I liked him when I was
nostalgic
a kid.
attachment.
Yeah, I
Like,
gotcha.
it's a funny movie, but
Yeah.
it's not like a great
Someone
movie.
else,
Like
but-
somebody didn't just like come up with like an amazing script and like present it and be like, "Look at this, guys, it'll blow you away." But like, it's kind of funny. It's Sinbad and Phil Hartman. They're both awesome.
This is a guilty pleasure movie.
You like it too,
Kind
huh?
of like your. Oh, I never seen it. It's their like your Batman or Robin.
Oh, I love Batman and Robin. It's the only one of the old movies that I would actually watch again. Like, if I flick through the channels, that's the one I see, I'll watch it.
Is that the one that had Batgirl in it?
Yeah, Batgirl.
Oh gosh.
It's not fair, man. I was sexist. She should have had nipples too. I'm just saying. Batman and Robin had nipples on their suits. She didn't. Sexism.
Good.
Yeah, I think she had them removed before the movie, though, wasn't that?
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like a weird.
It's a real sensitive subject. We
The
won't talk about it.
director had this thing.
Yes, I think that's true. He didn't like that kind of nipple. No,
Yeah.
he wanted to sell toys, and I don't think those toys would be allowed to
It
sell.
would have been funny if the suits, like Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, were completely anatomically correct. Like, everything. Doesn't that change your image of Batman?
That would have changed everything. I would like people would complain about nipples, but then as soon as you put a big dong on the front,
Yeah,
no one's gonna complain anymore. Everyone's like, "That's I take him serious again. He's scary again."
And you know what he could say? It's for art.
It's callback.
Full circle.
There
Yeah. Oh!
Okay, cool. Anyway, and Nick, what do you got? What have you been watching lately? You can even stuff we watched together. Bring it up.
Oh, well, we watched American Sniper.
We did watch it finally.
Yeah, finally.
What'd you think of that one?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I was expecting not to really think it was much of anything, and it was.
Yeah,
I thought it was good. It was a good horror movie. I'm not usually big into those. There's not really.
I hear you. Yeah, they're not all Full Metal Jacket,
I
but
love that one.
of course. But yeah, did you feel like the concern was for me anyway? The concern was that it was a big propaganda piece for America. What'd you think of?
From America. Yeah, I kind of agree. I didn't think so at first, and then we sort of talked about it a bit more, and then I was like, well, the ending was a bit too neatly.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, it was too neat. It was too clean cut. It was just
Yeah,
he looked too much like a hero. I think
they really went out of their way, and like they had him making all these like specific moral decisions that I don't think are quite accurate. I will say the movie works.
Yeah.
Joel, you saw it too, right? And you too, Lord Boone.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell me if you agree with this? You know the very. I see. I don't want to spoil things. If you know how, no, actually, we talked about it last week. Screw it. I talked about how he dies.
Spoiler alert.
They only hint at how he dies in real life in the movie. They hint at it.
Yeah.
But do you remember when they were hinting at that part, the very end of the movie? Do you remember the guy that he's with?
Yeah.
Okay, could they not have done that a little more subtly?
Like how creepy he was?
Yes!
Oh, okay.
He looked like Gomer Pyle. Clayton, do your Gomer Pyle face.
Oh.
Yeah! Oh my god! See, that's what he was doing. The guy was like,
Yeah.
everything he did was the creepiest face I've ever seen in my life, right?
Yeah.
Could they not have just toned it down? I mean, what if it was just a nice, handsome, attractive young man like Steven here,
Yeah.
and he was standing there and he's smiling, he's like, hey, how's it going? And then they dropped that bombshell on you and said that, because of
wonder
his... Because that would have made it more... Instead of it looking like... it would show maybe the ugly side of war, and I don't think that's what they wanted to do with this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because psychologically speaking, like when Clint Howard was making
Clint Howard.
sorry, Clint Eastwood. I just would love to see Clint Howard direct a movie. Anyway,
Oh, me too.
and put himself in it as a Tranya kid again. But Clint Eastwood, like, I don't know what, I don't know if you guys have read in interviews or anything. Like, was he trying to say war is bad? Was he trying? Because obviously it praised the sniper, right?
Yeah.
But then in the end, it was coming home that killed him. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
a crazy twist. But with the whole like evil looking guy, like I wonder if maybe he was thinking, well, if I just show a regular everyday American, then
People might not get
people
it.
might be like, well, no, Americans aren't evil. Like I need to
Yeah.
show this is an evil.
It's not
American.
about it being evil. What they don't tell you is that what happened with that guy,
Yeah.
and it wasn't him alone, it was with another person too.
Okay.
They took a guy to the shooting range to deal with his PTSD.
Right.
And of course, once the gunshots started going off, the guy lost it and shot him.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Yeah, they don't show the details or say
that's
the
it.
details really.
And I'm not saying they should, but what I'm saying is they just made it look like this guy was clearly like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Instead of it being like some poor guy who's damaged,
Right,
That
right.
really bothered me. It really did bother me because of what happened behind that, what made that happen. That guy obviously was messed up. And they kind of hinted at it, but more or less they were just too busy trying to show like, oh, this guy's weak, he's strong, he can go to war and kill tons of people.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it seemed like the ugly side of war, like the after effect, was really brushed under. Like,
Yeah,
the
they
dark.
really
Just
did.
Like he sort of had like a tiny little moment.
You're right.
Of PTSD where
One
he
moment.
almost like
Whacked a dog.
Yeah, whacked the dog, but that was it.
You would
And
love it,
just
Steve. You
disappeared.
would have loved it.
He didn't even like. I don't know. They didn't address it anymore. It's like it disappeared.
Yeah, he goes to see a doctor, and the doctor's like, you think you're okay? He's like, yep. And they're like, okay, well then here, let's go to the shooting range.
And like
Yeah.
maybe that's actually how it was for him. Like I don't know.
That's
what
possible.
happened, but it's not like that for most people.
I don't think the story's quite so cut and dry, but
No.
I don't expect them to have every detail in there, but I just feel like they really cut out all of the details that could have pointed to maybe the gray area of the whole situation. At the very first half of the movie, I was actually really into it because they had a lot of characters coming along being like, I need to get out of this place, I need to get out of this place.
Yeah.
And we were basically watching, it's kind of like the same theme as The Hurt Locker. It's about a guy who's better there than he is here.
Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of like the movie Bronson. It's about a guy who's better in prison than out of prison. I love that because they throw an interesting dynamic at it. But with this movie, it was doing a thing that I saw in an Oscar movie from a few years ago, and then he was meeting up with people who couldn't handle it, and then halfway through the movie, they ditched that. It's all like, go there, be a hero, you're a hero. The only thing you got is the wife being like, oh, I'm lonely, you're never around. That's the only thing we had as a negative to him going to war, really. It was, and they played it like it wasn't for ego, it wasn't for any of this. It doesn't sound like that from what I've heard about the real person, so I don't know. Anyway, the movie is not bad. I like the movie. I hate what it's behind it. It bothers me.
Yeah, that's an interesting because there's the two dynamics. So like I'm the
Yeah.
same way. I feel like as a movie, I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Mm.
But as a
Yeah.
biopic or like containing real information, knowing about the war, that I also found the scene very strange that caused him to go to war. He was just at home and all of a sudden he saw on TV this happening, and all of a sudden he was like, I gotta go shoot people.
That's it. Because the first like 15 minutes of the movie, I was like, this is really crappy.
Yeah.
And I actually forgot about that until you said that just now. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
he
about
just
that.
like instantly is kind of like. I feel like they could have legit just had him go buy a gun right away and just like fly himself over to like Iraq and just start shooting people. Cause,
And then, because then somebody's just like, hey, you want to join us? And he's like, okay.
yeah, exactly. So I bet
Yeah.
I guarantee you that there was much more of a process that went on for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I wonder like how soldiers who are dealing with PTSD, I wonder how they view the film. I wonder if for them
That'd
they're
be
kind of thinking.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
See, there you go. That's an interesting subject. Instead of treading on Hurt Locker's territory, And I know that you and Nick didn't love Hurt Locker so much.
I don't. No, not really. Not that much.
I don't know what it is. I really enjoyed that movie, and
It was
this
very
one I
similar.
kind of liked. The theme
To
is
me,
the idea
I felt
is similar.
similarly.
It's
Like I was
very
kind of
similar.
like
Yeah.
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again,
That's
when
fair.
you have films to compare to, like Full Metal Jacket, and
Oh well, yeah.
it's kind of like these are
Platoon
movies that
and stuff, yeah.
Platoon, yeah. And obviously, it's a different type of war too that we're looking at now, like with terrorism and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. They were similar to me.
War and terror is boring in movies. I just gotta say.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Anyway,
You don't think it's terrific?
terrific. You were talking earlier about a movie called House Guest, weren't you?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because the other movie that I watched this week, I watched two actually. I watched Gone Girl and I watched The Guest. My buddy Tim, you guys might have met him before. I don't know Tim. Hey Tim, we love you, Tim.
I don't love him.
Tell your brother you love him.
Hi.
That'll work. He told me I need to watch this movie, The Guest. Get this, okay? This movie's kind of ties in the same thing because I watched American Sniper, then I watched The Guest later that night. And this is a very different kind of movie. It's about this ridiculously perfect-looking soldier who's come to town. He, like, walks down the road. He's got, like, a pack on his shoulder. He shows up at somebody's house. He's like, hey, I was in a unit with your son. I was a really good friend with him. See, I'm that guy in that picture up there. And she's like, oh, wow, okay. And he's like, so I just want to come and, like, say, like, hey, and see if I can help you guys out a little bit. And so she's like, oh, no problem. Yeah, that's great. It's good to see you. Come stay with us. So he goes by David. He stays with them for a bit. But the thing I love about this movie, he's so over the top. He's, like, helping them, but it's always, like, helping them in, like, insane ways. Like, really insane ways. And every time a scene happens, like, they're having a conversation, then somebody walks out of the room. Joel, you're the camera.
What?
He would make the most evil face in the
That was an evil
world.
face. John just looked at me.
The
with a very
most evil face. More evil than the guy at the end of American Sniper. He would look directly at the camera with the most evil face.
Oh, God.
There's a part where, like, the girl's in her bedroom, and she's, like, listening to music on her headphones, and then the camera comes out the window and starts panning down the side of the house, and it goes by the room that he's in. He's sitting on his bed looking out the window like...
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm not joking. This guy, it seems like it's a joke. Like, you're like... I almost felt like it was doing that to throw me off. So it would be like, actually, it turns out he is just a really nice guy.
Yeah, he has a face tick.
Yeah. That's what I was
It's for art.
But then, out of nowheres, long story short, it turns out he's part of, like, some crazy experimental, like, military thing. I don't know if he was a man or a machine or a mutant or what. I'm serious. They don't hint at it. They don't even tell you. They don't give you anything to work with on that. But he, out of nowheres, he's programmed to, once he gets noticed, he's programmed to clean the scene. So he starts murdering everyone.
Oh, God.
Everybody. Oh, what's this? The girl that you're staying with, her best friend, the like teenage girl that at the diner? Oh, shoots her. And I'm just like, what? Oh, the mom and dad that you've been hanging out with and like you've been helping them out and doing really nice things for them. Oh, he just starts stabbing them and you're like, what? And he's driving down the road and he sees the father and he's like, oh. And he just drives right into the front of his car and he's like, oh, David, what's going on? And he just shoots him and then runs into the woods and you're just like, what the hell just happened?
Runs into the woods.
Yeah, and by that point, you're just like, I have no idea what's happening. What happened? This movie was incredibly, like, enjoyable. With him, like, he's like a badass, it's like your cliche. It's a badass soldier staying with him. He's like, who gave you that black eye? All right, I'll take care of them. And then boom, he picks him up from school, he's driving him home. And a bunch of the football team guys that are jerks, they go to the bar, and they're actually allowed to drink there because they're on the football team. So he's, okay, I'll go there too and I'll get some drinks. And I'm turning to Duke Nukem. But basically, this guy's awesome. And he goes inside and then he's like, all right, I'd like to buy the guys some margaritas or something like some like really effeminate drink. The guys get all mad, come over, and he beats the shit out of them. Annihilates them.
He's a red line.
And then the guy's like, I'm calling the police. He's like, oh yeah, maybe you should tell them you were serving alcohol to minors, huh? How do you think they like that?
He's just got the upper hand on everyone.
He's got the upper hand on everyone. The principal, like, the kid gets into a fight later on with one of the bullies, roughs him up, and the principal's like, we have to expel him. He's like, oh, you have to expel him. Do you know how long this has been going on? That they've been, I guess, harassing him because he's homosexual? He's not actually homosexual, but he says it to the principal, and the principal's like, what? I didn't know. And he's like, yeah, so you guys are promoting that kind of hate in your school? Is that what's going on? Is that what's happening? And the mother's sitting beside him like, by the way, this guy's allowed to walk in every situation. So it's kind of funny because he just shows up and all of a sudden he's the family guy.
I have a theory.
Okay, what do you
I
got?
haven't seen the movie. But maybe he represents, as a character, America to the rest of the world.
Oh.
Because he just goes in and does whatever he wants and, like, is like America, the way America deals with the world, right?
You just blew my mind.
As you're telling me this, I'm like, maybe that's what's going on there.
You're onto something. And then basically the military shows up and tries to fight him. He kills all of them.
Oh, yeah. See? Yeah.
And then the girl and the brother, after everyone in her family, all of her friends are dead. And of course in a high school Halloween dance, where the school's all designed, all spooky Halloween with fog everywhere. Mm-hmm. He ends up getting killed, stabbed, shot, whatever. And then at the end of the movie, it's like classic. It feels like the movie The Hitcher back in the day, like the original Hitcher. It really does. It even has like the opening credits of like him walking down the road, and then it shows, and it shows the guest in purple letters that are all like weird shaped. Wow. It feels like The Hitcher. It's so weird. And that's the very beginning. And at the very end, like the girl and the boy have stopped him. They've killed him. They're outside. They're like, oh, and the building burned and everything. But he got stabbed in the leg earlier or something like that. He got shot in the leg, and he's limping and all that. But they kill him. They're out at the ambulance, and at the very end, they see a fireman walk out. And he's limping really bad, and it's like oh my god, it's him. And then they look at him, and it's the weirdest ending I've ever seen. They look at him, and I'm telling you the ending. They look right at him, and then he turns to them like with the craziest face, with a mask on. He's just like, and then it goes. They're like, oh, and then it goes in credits. That was the movie, and it was Tim. It was a good recommendation. I can't recommend it to anyone except for me, and that's what he said. He said it's like someone made a movie for you. I watched the movie. I thought it was not great, and I loved every second
I
of
want
it.
to see it now, though.
You should.
Like, it just
Me
sounds
too.
so strange.
I will. Okay, I'll get you guys a copy. We'll watch it. It was pretty. Yeah, it's just so. The guy is awesome, by the way. Whoever plays, what's his name?
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens.
Downton Abbey.
He's in Downton Abbey.
Downton
He
Abbey, yeah.
is so awesome in this movie. I loved him.
So,
He looked like Paul Walker, kind of. He's like blonde
was this a
and.
foreign film? Was this
No, it's very local.
This is American.
It's Merkin. But your theory is actually pretty good because as soon as like he
Well,
kind
we were
of
describing him and how he goes into a situation that he doesn't necessarily need to be in. He pretends he's friends with everyone, but actually has
Yeah.
malicious intent
Yeah, and he kills
to get their oil. Did he take their oil?
he did.
He took their soap.
It's funny because he's good in every situation though. Like there's like one part where like some girl's trying to seduce him, and he's like laying there like awkwardly, and she's like coming onto him. She like takes her shirt off and she's like reaches down his crotch and she's like, "Oh, are you not into this?" And he's like, "No." And he rolls her over, and all of a sudden he's like hard as a diamond. She says, "It's like he's just like, you know what? Oh, you want an erection? Oh, boop." I think he might be a machine. I'm not sure. He's just like, "Oh, let me boner activate."
Boner, I do that.
Steven's face. Steven's precious little face.
What did I do?
I just looked at you. I just said boner activate, and I looked at you, and you're just like, what?
Because
What'd you say?
what you don't realize is that that's his key word for. So you've just given him a.
Oh,
Moving on.
keep the leg crossed, buddy.
Okay.
Oh god, this is getting weird. The other one I watched is Gone Girl. Did you guys see that?
No.
Never heard of it.
No, I never heard of it. It's starring Ben Affleck, directed by Ben Affleck, and I liked
Maybe
it.
I did see that.
It's not directed by Ben Affleck.
He didn't direct it?
No.
Are you 100% certain?
Yeah. David Fincher.
Is it really?
Are you joking?
I'm joking you. I've heard it was a Ben Affleck movie. I guess
it's
I'm
not.
mistaken. Okay, never mind. I've been
Heard it
drinking.
here first. David Fincher and Ben Affleck are the same guy.
Well, there you. Well, now I look like an idiot on my own podcast. Let me see.
You look like an idiot all the time.
Okay,
Yeah,
Gone
David
Girl.
Fincher. I was right.
But yeah, it's a pseudonym for Ben Affleck.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Matt Damon, actually. Oh, that's bad. My
But Ben
bad.
Affleck did direct a movie.
He did, and I thought this was his. Either
He
way,
directed the Argo one.
I really, yeah, he did. He did a few actually. He's a good director, but I actually really liked it. It had Trent Reznor doing the music. The music feel was great. It had a really good feel to it. It's a story about a man whose wife goes missing, and everything points to him being the murderer.
Oh yeah, that one.
And he's
yeah.
like, or maybe murder, or maybe he abducted her, or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, the media basically tears the situation up, makes him look extremely bad, and the whole thing is him just basically trying to fight public opinion. Is she even gone? Is she even dead? Like, what happened? Nothing makes sense. It's a cool movie, I gotta say. You didn't like it quite as
I
much,
didn't
huh?
like it that much. No.
No,
But,
I could see this movie dividing people bad.
Yeah.
It's
Those are
got
the
a
best
really.
movies.
That's it. It's the kind of movie that I
Love or hate
really would love, and I know most people would hate it, but I love it because it doesn't do the happy ending thing.
Yeah.
But it's not as cut and dry as you expect. That's what I love about it. It's like you're expecting, oh, the bad ending could be this way, the good ending would be this way, and then they go right in between and they go somewhere else altogether where you're just like, whoa, that's the ending? What? That's clever.
I didn't mind the ending. I
Cheeseburger.
just didn't really like the whole movie. It was
Annick.
It's too much.
I guess I'm going to ask you this now.
Yeah. What?
Who had the better penis? Neil Patrick Harris or Ben Affleck? Because we saw them both very clearly.
Really? Okay.
Well, Ben Affleck's was only for a second,
Well,
but
like
it
I
was
said, like I
Second
said,
piece.
gargantuan. It looked like a.
Gargantuan Wong.
Was it a walking penis? Was he walking and was flopping around?
No. Well,
Or-
kind of. He turned and.
No,
Standing,
let me
sitting
explain
penis?
this to you.
Okay.
You can't compare both penises because no, it's true because
Interesting.
Ben Affleck is in a shower and he's standing.
And nothing is hanging down around his
And then-
knees.
Yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't
Even a
matter.
prosthetic.
And then NPH is on a bed and he's lying on his back.
And it's all, like,
It just
dangling around.
flops to the side. It's just not a fair comparison. But Ben Affleck, really.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, to be fair, when I look at the two guys, I would
You kinda
probably
figure.
say Ben Affleck probably is more.
Well, you can't
Talented
really,
in that
you
area.
can't,
Yeah, 'cause, you know, he's going to be Batman, so... I
Yeah,
think
well,
that
they
you
probably
have to
increased-
have a big
He
ding
probably
dong.
was online and he saw one of those postings that says increase your size.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and he just ordered
It's
it.
one of those things with Ron Jeremy on it, a picture of Ron Jeremy. He's like, hey, I know him. Click.
Like
Yeah.
3 simple steps to have a bigger shalaga dog.
Shalaga dog.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. All right, Clayton, you watch anything this week?
I watched Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For.
What'd you think of it? He just brought it to me so I could watch it. But what'd you think?
It's it's okay. No, okay. There's a few stories, a few from the comic book, but then there's also 2 stories that Frank Miller just wrote.
Yeah, new ones, huh?
New ones.
Yeah.
And one of them is okay with what's his face?
I don't. Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, his was good, but the one with Nancy wasn't very good.
Yeah, well,
It was
Jessica Alba.
yeah.
I think that might be a matter of Jessica Alba versus Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's the better actor.
Because he wrote it, but Gordon-Levitt was like, "Oh, I want the character to be more like this," and he's like, "Okay." He was very understanding.
Really?
He actually changed his script for
JGL? That's pretty cool,
JGL.
man.
And it was better.
yeah.
The changes were good.
I don't.
I
Frank
guess.
Miller's not a great writer anymore.
No,
He was great back in the day. Like, he really was. His Daredevil stuff back in the day was great. His Sin City stuff was really good because it was his own. But then out of nowhere, he got so much praise, it went to his head, and all he could do is the exact same thing over and over again. So if it's Sin City, it doesn't really bother me that much because it's original content. It's not stepping on anything else. But you do realize he tried to pitch... Have you heard of a book called Holy Terror? It's the story of... Well, he ended up... It's not Batman, but it was... He looks like Batman. It's about Batman deciding, I've had it with these Middle Eastern people. I'm going into the Middle East and killing them all.
American Sniper.
Basically. Holy Terror. It's a real book. It's about, it's really, it was meant to be Batman going to the Middle East to kill all the, and I quote, Muslims.
Oh, okay.
That's what the book is about.
yeah.
Can you believe that? Frank Miller's
ridiculous.
just become like a
He's
almost
pandering
self-parody at this point. He's pandering to his crazy ego. He thinks that he could write that story. So anyways, of course, DC was like, yeah, no, not Batman. So now instead it's like a guy who looks just like Batman. Catwoman. Of course it's not Catwoman. It's like, she looks like
Bad
Catwoman.
lady.
And in Frank Miller's universe, all women are prostitutes, so she's a prostitute. So I don't know, man. Frank Miller really needs to just stop. He's kind of just a joke at this point.
Yeah, well, don't worry, because he's in the movie a few times, and he looks like he's gonna die soon. Really bad.
So don't worry, John.
Yeah.
He's on his way out.
I won't worry about that then. Jeez. That makes me feel
Get
bad.
well soon.
It was good. What's his face? The guy from
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. He was awesome.
I love
Yeah.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin is
Ever
great.
since the Goonies, baby.
That's
He
so
was in the
weird.
Goonies?
Yeah, he was Brand, the older brother.
Whoa,
Weird, huh?
didn't know.
Yeah,
I
he
know.
had like the boyish, cute looks then. And then I heard
It's like Steve has.
yeah.
I love your Walt Disney
Walt
fans.
Disney
Disney
person
is
is.
Well, aren't you a Justin Bieber fill-in? He's just like, no, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah. If girls want to do Justin Bieber, he's like, okay, meet me here, and it's Steven.
Yeah, Steven just has like a website. It's like, I am JustinBieber.com.
It's like Steven.com/Justin Bieber, and no one ever catches on. All right, so let's get to that Oscar talk here. We'll talk a bit about the movies. We've already talked about American Sniper, but Hun, what's our first category we can kind of look at there, Honey Beans?
Depends which one you want.
Anyone. I want to say Best Picture for last, because that's really, we watch all the Best Picture movies. I mean, we might not even be able to talk about a lot of them, because I didn't watch any animated movies
Yeah, I
this
should
year.
probably wait, but there's one I'm really curious about, but I'll wait until we talk about
Oh,
it.
sure.
Which one?
Which one are you thinking?
The one about the boy growing up, and it's like his
Boyhood.
whole life.
Wow.
Yeah, Boyhood. Because, we talked about Tim a
Yeah.
couple times, Tim Davidson.
Yeah.
He had that idea in, like, high school, I think it was. He said, wouldn't it be cool to make a movie, we start now, and we film somebody, and then the actual progression of them growing. And we just,
Yeah.
I remember he had that idea. So when this came out, I was like, there's another one they stole from Tim.
Tim,
Poor Tim.
But wouldn't they have started that before he had the idea, in theory?
No, I don't think so. 'Cause
No.
remember, high school was like 30 years ago. I'm like 48.
yeah, I'm like 62.
Yeah,
No, but they only started filming, how long ago was it? It was over the course of 12
12
years.
years.
So
12. I'm 30. Someone do math here?
18.
So we would have been out of high school for a few years at
Yeah,
that
so
point.
we were still, when Tim had this idea, they hadn't started filming this yet.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of work, too. Like, it's a good idea.
It's
But
not that much work. Because
Let's
I'm
give your
sure
brother
it's
some
shooting
credit,
a week
Steven.
a year, and then-
Come on.
He had the idea first.
You know what? It's kind of like that. A while back, there was a video shot entirely in reverse, and everyone was like
Yeah.
blown away by it on the internet. Like, oh yeah, we did that in like grade like 10.
Tim did it.
Tim did it. Yeah, Tim is the new Simpsons.
TDI, Tim did it.
TDI. All right, Hun. So what's the first category you went with? You want to go with like some acting and
Okay.
because we haven't seen everything yet.
No, well, we could go with like best supporting actor.
All right, let's see what they got for that.
Okay.
So what are the nominees here?
Okay, for best supporting actress, we have Emma Stone for Birdman, Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, Meryl Streep for Into the Woods, Laura
Really?
Dern for Wild, and Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game.
Oh man. So out of that, like,
Okay. I'll shut up.
do you know any
I
of
have
these
comments already.
What do you got? What do you got?
Well, I guess of course, Meryl Streep's nominated.
Yeah, but
So-
yeah, but
Okay, I don't know anything about the movie, but it just didn't,
It's a
Meryl
musical,
Streep, like,
stupid.
I think eventually she
I
just
like
needs to
musical.
give out her Oscars
yes,
as like
she should.
gifts to other-
It's got to stop, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other thing I was going to say, and I don't know, I'm not a huge Keira Knightley fan. And
She's
I
been terrible
found-
lately.
I found in the
Not
Imitation
good.
Game she was not very
I
good. in
agree.
that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought she was probably one of the weakest
It was
parts.
not good.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I like
Have
it.
you ever seen it?
I haven't seen any of them.
Steven didn't see it, so it's not worth watching.
Didn't see it. You heard it here.
Based on any of these, which one would you want to win?
Who would you
without
want?
Seeing the movie?
Who are the actresses again?
I want Evan Stone to win.
Evan Stone always.
So it's Emma.
Oh, Emma.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
well, she's okay too.
Yeah.
So Emma Stone, Patricia Arquette, Meryl Streep, Laura Dern, and Keira Knightley.
I only know who Keira Knightley is out of those people.
So you would pick her?
I wouldn't necessarily pick her. I just haven't heard of the other.
Okay.
Well, okay. Emma Stone was Gwen Stacy in the new Spider-Man movies.
Oh man, yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's something else. Actually,
She's
she was incredible. I think my two favorites of all the things listed there that I've seen. I like Emma Stone a lot, but I've got to go Patricia Arquette for Boyhood. She was ridiculous. She was the mother throughout the whole 12-year story, right? And she's wonderful. She holds that movie together in a lot of ways.
So I think that's my
Fingers are
pick.
crossed for
Yeah.
her.
I
But
think she'll win anyway. Like it doesn't matter what I want.
Birdman was such a badass movie. You guys have it on your PS3. You should watch it. Oh, by the way, I put Birdman on your PS3, Steven.
What?
No, it is actually on there. I never told you.
It's really good.
The worst.
She's good too in it.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She is.
I'm looking these people up, make sure I know who I'm talking
Okay.
about.
I saw the Babadook on my PS3 too.
Do you still have that? That's good because I think I deleted it, so I'll come over and grab
Hey,
that
Laura
from you.
Dern, the Jurassic Park lady.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen her around very often.
I totally forgot that she. Yeah, okay.
Maybe I
Yes,
just
these
didn't.
little parts, but it's not really.
Hey, now
So
stop
you
bumping the
guys say
microphone.
the best is Patricia Arquette, you think?
I think so.
For me, that's who I'm cheering for. But you know what? I mean, anyone but Meryl Streep on this one. Because come on, stop it, Meryl.
I haven't seen Wild.
Save some for
I
everyone
saw,
else.
I saw,
That's it.
I saw Into the Woods, and it's like that's not an Oscar-worthy performance.
Some of the performances this year that are nominated are not really. Well, actually, the funny thing is, this year most of them are actually really impressive. But there's a few that I'm just like, why is that nominated? That's just a very standard performance.
Okay, let's move on
Well,
to best.
they're
supporting
there
actor.
to win.
Yeah, really. Okay, so what?
Okay, best supporting actor. Okay,
Yes.
well, Mark Ruffalo, Foxcatcher, Ed Norton for Birdman, J.K. Simmons for Whiplash,
Ooh.
Robert Duvall for The Judge, and Ethan Hawke for Boyhood.
Oh, The Judge. I saw that.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you
did
like
see
that? I
one.
wanted to see that one.
Yeah.
I actually really liked it and cried.
I want to see it.
It like caught me off guard, the crying.
Well, how did Duvall do anyway?
I was
Like,
like, dang.
do you think he's?
It was friggin' I thought it was awesome.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, like
Oh,
honestly,
cool. I haven't
like
seen
some of
that.
the stuff that he did in that movie, where he had to go as as an actor and stuff, was pretty darn intense.
Beautiful.
And there was a
Good for
couple
him.
scenes in that movie that were just like, is that nominated for Best Picture too?
No, just I think just this one,
That's
best
the
supporting.
only-
But yeah, there's like a lot going on in that movie. That's, I mean, I really liked it.
I'd like to see it.
Some people might think I think maybe it was one of those movies that had like seemed maybe too perfect or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, I know what you mean.
maybe I don't know. It was a while ago when I saw it, but and I liked seeing
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. do something other than like a rich guy that built a suit.
Like Steven, yeah.
Yeah, like Ralph Lauren or
Ralph Lauren or Hugo Boss or Steven.
Hugo, yeah, or Steven. What is that suit anyway?
Hugo
Steven?
Steven.
Yeah, that's for this one. Annick, who do you think?
I think J.K. Simmons will win because
Yeah.
that was a great performance.
That was ridiculous. J.K. Simmons was J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies.
Oh,
okay.
This is
Yeah,
the
I
movie-
hope he wins.
Me too, and because it's him playing that character that he's known to play, but it's him basically carrying the entire movie with that character, and it's a little bit more. It's more than just the J. Jonah Jameson, but he's so like he can turn on a dime in that movie. There's a few times where he's like seems like he's kind of being a nice guy, and then seconds later he's just like a monster. It was a really
It's a great.
Joel. You should see Whiplash.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
musically
Yeah.
inspired, and you're a musician,
You would
and
like
that's
it.
something you'd like.
I don't even,
I think it's also about art. It's about the art, like just the arts in general. It's about how hard you have to work to be an artist.
Competitive.
how competitive it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'll definitely have to check it.
It's-
So is
it's-
that one nominated then?
Best Picture too, yeah.
Best Picture,
Yeah, it's the one that like no one knew anything about really. I gotta say it's probably at the very bottom of the list when people talk about the movies,
Yeah.
but it's
That
really
is
good.
A good movie.
It's impressive. It's very special. There's a lot of special ones this year. Usually when I look at the Oscars, I'm like, oh wow, there's 6 nominations or like 7 or 8 movies nominated, 2 of which are really good, 2 of which are pretty good, and then the rest are awful.
Yeah.
This year it's like there's one I don't like.
So
One.
They're good Oscars this year then.
Yeah, I'm really into it. The one I don't like is the one everyone's liking the most, probably. That's just typical me. But we'll see. So what else? What's the next category there, Honey Beans?
Well, should we do like best?
Best Steven in a movie? I'm gonna go with
for Sean.
I'm gonna go for Sean.
Best original screenplay or
Come on,
best
guys.
adapted screenplay?
Let's do original screenplay first.
Okay, best original screenplay: Foxcatcher,
I wish we saw that.
Birdman, Grand Budapest Hotel, Nightcrawler, and Boyhood.
Birdman's an original screenplay?
Yeah, guess so.
Oh man, Birdman. I thought that was an adaptation. I thought it had to be. It's just too perfect.
Because I could have way.
You got yeah.
But
It's just too far out there. It's wild.
Wild.
It's wild. So good.
Oh, good.
I haven't seen any of these. I've only seen Grand Budapest out of those.
Well, Grand Budapest was really great.
Yeah.
I do love Grand
Yeah, I did
Budapest.
see
Wes
that.
Anderson
Yeah.
movies are like.
I saw
candy
Nightcrawler,
for
and I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
You
It was
know?
just like,
I want to watch that one.
I'm
but-
gonna walk around being a jerk and piss off dead people.
Yeah.
Which one you didn't like?
Nightcrawler.
Oh, okay.
I really want to
Oh,
watch that
so you
one.
saw it.
I feel like that's a movie that I would really like. I just feel like it, but I'm not sure. Grand Budapest is fantastic. It is, and Boyhood, of course, is brilliant. But it's I gotta say from just the storytelling, like from the story point of view, it's not that like big of a leap if you think about it. It's just like the process. I feel like I feel like most people could do this if they had that situation set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
With
that's
Boyhood?
because it's the idea is like every year they get together for a bit and be like, what's happening in your life right now? Okay, let's put this into the script a little bit, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
So there was no set script. I didn't feel like it was just a
Not
very
as,
difficult to make
creative
movie.
or-
It was just an ambitious movie,
Yeah.
and which I do think Boyhood
It's
is
like
a
a very much of
fantastic
a
movie.
concept movie, isn't it?
It's a concept
all
movie?
based on this.
But it actually works.
Yeah.
I figured it would be like a movie where the movie kind of sucks, but the concept is cool. But no, the movie's good too. But Birdman, that script is impressive, and the whole thing is one shot. I think I told you about that. It's like
Yeah, you said
it
The
fakes.
whole
It's made as if
The whole
it's-
movie's made as if it's one shot. It's tricking you constantly, even though you know it can't possibly work that way. It's like if I pan from Clayton over to the right, and then Clayton's standing there doing something else, and it's just like stuff like that would happen every now and again. But it just feels so fluid. It's weird. That movie's impressive to me.
So that'd be your vote,
My vote, yeah.
Boydman.
Boydman.
Hi, Boydman.
I'm David Boydman.
What lawyer?
Well, probably Budapest for me because what movie has Edward Norton come in? He's like, "What's going on here?" I love that scene.
He's in Birdman too,
Oh,
Yeah.
and he like the fact that I was actually gonna go for him until you said J.K. Simmons, and I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, no, J.K. Simmons has to take Best Supporting Actor. Edward Norton is amazing in Birdman too.
man, I gotta see it then.
Good old Eddie.
You need to see it. He's grown on me. I gotta say, I really like
Edward
him.
Norton's kind of an interesting actor. Well, I saw him do something recently that I thought was it SNL? Was he on the 40-year anniversary or something?
I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something he did recently that was really hilarious, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, good old Eddie.
He's getting cool in his old age. I gotta say.
He looks the same to me though. He's not like one of those actors that's aging and becoming more like rough looking. Like
Clint Eastwood.
exactly. Exactly.
That's not fair because of
Clint
age.
Howard.
Oh boy.
No, Josh Brolin. He's the guy who like
Yeah, he just
people
looks
didn't
so
want
badass.
He didn't get roles. He wasn't getting cast a lot. And then all of a sudden, I forget which director it was that saw him and said, in so many words, you got ugly, like rough looking, like your face is all aged.
He looks like a man.
Yeah, exactly. And
He's
then
the
all of a
only
sudden
man in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite man.
He's all man. It's just incredible,
Josh
you know.
Brolin, quite man.
Quite man.
So what's the next category, honey? Oh, you the adapted screenplay, right?
Oh, yeah, if you want it.
Or if you got another one, I'm sorry.
I went right to the actors, but okay. But best adapted screenplay, we have Whiplash, American Sniper, The Imitation Game, The Theory of Everything, and Inherent Vice.
I have no opinion.
I've seen two of them.
Whiplash was good.
I say Whiplash.
I haven't seen it. I wish I saw an Inherent Vice.
Yeah.
I really wish I had that to run on. Paul Thomas Anderson, the guy who made like, There Will Be Blood and stuff like that.
Oh,
he's my favorite director going these days, and I haven't seen his movie, but I saw these other ones. What the hell's going on with me? You know, that's the problem.
You're
a bad person.
I am. Jeez. I'm just.
You're a slipping bad man.
Whole
Holy-
Miller comic book.
Yeah, let's move on. I got nothing on that. Theory of Everything was pretty impressive, I thought, for what it was. But, you know,
I would say
could've-
probably not the Imitation Game or the what was the other one again?
Oh.
Forget already.
Yeah, but-
Oh, American Sniper.
American
yeah,
Sniper,
I think
yeah.
both of those were
I
kind
don't
of
feel like those
not that
were.
big a deal.
They weren't really script. Like, it wasn't the script, the screenplay that made them awesome. I think it was more of a. One is Benedict Cumberdoodle.
Cumberboodle.
The other's people being shot. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch, like you put him in any movie, and
And his voice will rumble.
his voice and his like whimper that he does, where he like's kind of gonna cry, and then he does cry.
Good point.
Yeah, like he does it all the time. In that movie, he did it probably like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
So he tries not to cry, but then he's like, "Oh no, here it comes!"
To me, it's like
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch is a wimp.
sometimes
He
athletes
is.
will kind of show off. You know, to me, that's like an actor showing off. Like he knows he can turn off and on the tears, like anytime. So I think the directors directing probably are at the mercy of him, where they're like, "Oh, for this scene, Benedict, we just need you to stand there and he's like, what do you want me to cry, right?" Well, that was not a good Benedict Cumberbatch impression, but he's like, you know, I can cry, so let's do it for this scene. But we did it for the last scene. No, but I want to cry again. So good on you.
Oh boy.
I guess he can't say penguin either. But that's a thing I heard recently.
Really?
That he did one of those national, I don't know if it's a National Geographic, but like a documentary on penguins, and he narrated it. And I guess there's several times he said like penguin and penguin. Like couldn't say it right, and nobody told him during the filming, the making of it, that he wasn't saying it right.
Oh boy.
And a queen.
Yeah, Panda Queen.
Penguinis?
Penguinis. Oh.
Atrocity.
Okay, what else we got, hon? What's the next?
Okay,
Let's get to the
move on
actors.
to Best Actor. So there's Michael Keaton for Birdman.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. Benedict whatever you said.
Cumberboodle.
Cumberdoodle for The Imitation Game.
Or Cucumber Patch is
Sure.
acceptable.
Sure, that's fine. Bradley Cooper for American Sniper and Steve Carell for Foxcatcher.
I really wish we saw Steve Carell in Foxcatcher.
Yeah, it's so sad.
I'm pulling for him so bad, but at the same time, there's who's gonna win and there's who I want to win. I am cheering so bad for Michael Keaton because the thought of him winning Best Actor at the Oscars blows my nutsack off. It's so cool, but
And you want this?
oh man, I hate that thing. It's just dangling there. Anyway,
Wait.
what I really know is gonna happen. You guys need to see The Theory of Everything.
Okay.
It blows my mind. It's the Stephen Hawking one.
Oh yeah.
And watching Eddie Redmayne become Stephen Hawking, like he's Stephen Hawking.
He'll probably win one.
He walks, but by the end of it, like he fucked up his back,
Yeah.
crouching and like turning into Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, because if you can do that and pull it off well, like that's
He did.
really
And
impressive.
you ever see Stephen Hawking? Like he'll he has that thing and he
Talks.
talks sort of, and he'll say something that's like a funny, like a witty joke.
Stephen Hawking.
Hey baby,
Yeah.
jingle my bells,
Blow
but
my nutsack.
but he'll say something kind of clever, and then you look at his face and he's like sitting there, he doesn't really move much. But then you
Nothing's
see like
changed.
this like
Yeah.
he does like a slight smirk.
Yeah.
Man, Eddie Redmayne did it. He was Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking said himself is like sometimes I thought I was just watching myself up there.
Wow.
It's weird how much he I've never seen. I can honestly say I don't know if you agree with me, hon. I think that this is the most true to life performance I've ever seen of like a person becoming another
because
person.
we actually have the luxury of comparing both of them.
Yeah.
He's still alive, right?
That's it.
So weird.
I've never seen anyone do it better.
What else
Yeah.
has he been in, this actor?
Not much.
Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Was he the...
Which I hate it.
He was the redhead guy who cries.
I
Probably.
didn't see
I don't know.
that. Le Mercenaires.
The Mercenaries.
He hasn't been in too much.
No, he really hasn't. But yeah, I mean, he will be obviously now.
So what? Okay. Yeah.
You'll get to know Eddie Redmayne pretty quickly. He's in that Jupiter Ascending movie. He has his shirt off and he's running. Or no, wait, maybe he doesn't have his shirt off anymore, but he still runs.
But we can all picture it with the shirt.
Yeah, just picture him with his shirt off, running.
Nice. I like
Okay, good. So
That's the extended
Very
cut.
skinny.
yeah, he's very skinny, but he's also running. So
that. You can
explains
run
it.
well when you're skinny.
Can you run well?
I'd run all right.
Yeah. See, he's
proven it.
he's basically like a streamlined car right here. You know,
Yeah. Like
there's no
snake
wind
with
resistance. He's sick with legs. Steve. All right.
legs. Steve.
Here comes
Okay.
Steven slithering up. Gonna give an RKO to someone.
Oh, Steven. Okay,
Oh, Steven.
honey, What do we got for the next
Okay,
one?
Best Actress. We're almost done.
We're almost there. Best
Okay.
Actress, then we'll do Best Picture.
Yeah.
And Best Director.
Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything. Marion Cotillard for 2 Days, 1 Night. Reese Witherspoon for Wild. Julianne Moore for Still Alice. And Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl.
I don't know any of them. Well, I know some of them, but I can't really weigh in.
It's sad because I haven't seen most of these movies listed.
I'm rooting for Julianne Moore because we just saw
Yeah.
Still Alice and it was wonderful.
Oh, wow.
You go, Julianne.
So technically, the scariest movie I've seen this year is Still Alice. It's a story of a woman in her, like, maybe 50s or something like that. Yeah, she's 50, who gets Alzheimer's.
Oh, I saw a trailer for this.
It's terrifying.
It's
Yeah, it looked
terrifying.
really...
It was, wow. A really good movie.
And that's
Really,
Julianne Moore that
yeah.
plays that? Yeah.
she did so good.
She was-
I'm pulling for her myself, I
and
agree.
apparently she's been nominated 4 times, I think,
Never won.
and never won. And she's
Meryl and Kate Blanchett
Give
keep
it
running
to
off with
her.
them.
Give it to her.
She needs
It's time.
That
It
sounds
is
horrible.
fine.
Give it to her. Give it to her. But
That happened to Al
I mean,
Pacino, and then he won.
Yes.
There you go. Al Pacino.
Yeah, sure you mean that.
But no, I'm pulling for her too. I agree. She did a really good job in that movie. Jeez, it was good.
Just don't get Alzheimer's. Just don't get it.
I'm
Just
gonna try my best not to.
I'm gonna decapitate myself with like a butter knife if I
You have
get
to like
Alzheimer's.
eat a lot of oranges and like be healthy.
My dad eats an egg every day to prevent it.
And stay
Oh, man.
skinny and run fast.
Yeah, you're fine. What do you, Steven?
Get off your high horse, Steven.
You're like invincible to all this shit, and you're saying us to.
It happens to women more often, so if anyone in the room has to worry, it's Joel.
Oh no.
Pip pip. All right, so what about Best Director, hun? If you still have that one, that's one I forgot.
Director,
Pip, pip.
we have Morten Tildum for The Imitation Game.
Okay.
Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher. Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu for Birdman.
Mhm.
And Richard Linklater for Boyhood. Wes Anderson, Grand Budapest Hotel.
As much as I want to cheer for Wes Anderson, I always do. I think, and I'm not going to give it to Richard Linklater because I don't think, like I mentioned earlier, the movie itself is really cool,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's really that hard. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything special about how
You got
hard
a
it
lot
was.
to lean on as a director when you're making a movie like that.
That's it. You know, you got lots of time to adapt. You know, and make
Yeah, a
things
lot
better.
of time too. That's true.
I feel like that will win, but I don't know if it should win.
I agree.
I think so.
It might. I probably will. I'm cheering for Birdman because the complications of the movie. I feel like from like a technical standpoint, and the directing, like to make like the longest. These are like the longest takes ever.
Yeah.
And like the action's happening all around. I just feel like the direction of the whole movie is impressive. To think like they thought this through, like on a visual standpoint, on a technical standpoint, the acting. It was all just so on, and I don't even know how. I like it's the first time in a long time I've watched a movie and been like, I don't know how they did that. I can't figure it out.
It's a magica.
He's a magica. Yeah.
So okay, I'm trying to figure out. So there was the Imitation Game was in there, right?
Yeah.
And Grand Budapest.
Foxcatcher, Grand Budapest,
Because those are
and
the two
Birdman.
that I've seen.
And Boyhood.
You know what?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't normally say because I haven't seen the other one. So you're probably right. You know, Birdman or
Well, maybe.
one of the other ones, probably Boyhood, probably deserves it. But I think Wes Anderson has so refined and like perfected the style that he does.
It's true.
As a director, like, and you know, some like we've all kind of worked on movies here, or
Yeah.
you know, and the way that he like the nuances and the little
I agree.
subtleties and the way that he directs his films, like,
So
and
good.
we also know that he has so much control over the final product, whereas some other directors have a lot of input from, you know, their crew, their
Yeah.
cinematographer, whatever. And
make a
Wes
good
Anderson,
case.
his fingerprints are all over his films.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of a comedy and whatever, but man, I don't know, like.
If one of them
He's so
wins,
good at what
if
he
he
does.
wins, it would make me the most happy. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think he will, but
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
I wish he would. I wish he'd be recognized.
I think he does. I don't know. I think he does deserve it. I think out of the directors right
I agree.
now in the pool of directors that exist, like
He's one of the greats.
Yeah.
I agree. He's one of my favorites for sure.
Like, so. I
So it's
think,
Dan Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Wes Anderson are my two faves.
Woody Anderson's.
Oh, Woody Anderson.
What about Richard Dean Anderson?
Always Richard Dean Anderson. Who was he again? He was
Basketball
MacGyver.
player?
MacGyver. That's it. I knew it was some classic. But anyway, yeah. All right. So wow, we're going to the 1 hour mark already. So we've really got. Okay, let's best picture.
Okay, Best Picture. Woo!
Woo.
Whiplash, American Sniper, Birdman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, Boyhood.
The only one I didn't like was The Imitation Game. I'm saying it.
I agree.
Yeah, because you said
We saw them all.
that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering. Because you had said not long ago, you said the one film that everyone really likes is a film that I don't like. So is that the one?
That's the one. I do not like that movie.
I don't know that everyone really liked it.
Most people are really praising that movie and saying it's great, and I did not like it. I thought it was really annoying, and I really hated that it didn't. it hinted at story elements that sounded really cool, but then instead it talked about something else. Now, if this movie came out in 2005, I'd say this is one of the greatest movies ever made. Because
Because of the content, or
because of the content, because of what it's talking about, because of the especially the stuff about the way homosexuals were treated.
right? Yeah.
I just feel like it's a little too late, maybe
Yeah.
right now. Like the fact that it comes out now, and like one of our mutual friends just announced he's getting married to his boyfriend, and I'm just like, that's awesome, and most people were, I feel like that fight even like 5 years ago would have been much more relevant, but right now it's like, instead of telling us the cool story about this guy and the things he did and his philosophies, he's a philosopher. Did you know that? You watched the movie,
Not
did you
really,
know that?
No.
No, because we were too busy looking at how he was mistreated because he was homosexual. I just feel like there was
At the same time, this is the treatment of them in the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I mean, it is relevant historically that
It
they were treated
is.
that way in the 40s.
And I completely agree. I'm not saying it's not
Right.
relevant. I'm just saying that you could have told the story of the man and the things he did, as
Right,
opposed
yeah.
to how he was shit on because he liked
Yeah.
men.
I would have preferred to hear more about like what he did in his work life.
That's it.
Than that.
It bothered me. Like there's one part where he was sitting there, or he's talking to a guy, and he's like,
I'm a
He-
homosexual.
he figured out his whole, he figured out the whole thing. Like they figured out the codes,
Yeah.
and he's like, okay, so we can stop them, but we need to figure out which things we can stop so they don't know that we've figured out their stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to figure out a system that does that. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really interesting. I can't wait to see that. They don't even touch on it ever again. They quickly just blast through that whole, like, they do a little quick montage that blasts through that whole thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like, well, just by the way, I'm still gay, and, like, let's talk about that now. And I'm just like, but I want that sounds really cool. I want to know more.
Couldn't help laughing about the fact that he said blast through that hole. But yeah, no, I mean, I felt it was okay, but again, I felt like there was a couple roles that I felt one of the best actors was the kid that played young Benedict Cumberbatch. I
He
thought
was good,
was
huh?
So good.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he delivered, where he finds out something. I don't want to spoil it, but it's anyway. His performance was really amazing.
That's a really good
Like,
point.
that's
He was
crazy.
good. He was.
But some of the other people, I mean, like I said, Keira Knightley
Yeah.
was not huge
good.
on her in that role.
I agree.
And shoot, what was I going to say about the homosexual thing? Obviously, again, relevant fact about him as a character.
Yeah, it definitely is a
relevant,
fact.
and
It's-
definitely something that should have been in the movie. But it did seem like there was a couple scenes where literally he's talking to someone, and he, like I said, he just says like, "I'm a homosexual," and you're kind of like, he just randomly says it, and it's kind of like, well,
yeah.
I don't know. It felt a
It
little
forced.
bit unnatural
Yeah.
for him to just out and say that to somebody in a random, and then the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I kind of figured that about you," and it's kind of like,
I feel like the ending could have been a lot more powerful if they didn't show as much. The very end. I don't want to spoil it, but the very end when he's all like, things have gone very bad for him. If they didn't show any of that, they did the text thing at the end anywhere. They show like, and blah blah blah. This all happened to him.
Yeah.
I think if they would have done all that in text after showing all the great things he did, then it would have been more traumatic.
Yeah.
I would have read that and been like, holy shit, are you kidding me? But instead they showed it. And it's like, you know what it felt like to me? It felt like, oh, what's that hook coming down in front of my face for? It's got a worm up. Oscar bait? What is that? That's what I felt like. I just felt like they were fishing for an Oscar. You might as well put Sean Penn in the role at that point, No one's more whoring themselves up for an Oscar than Sean Penn.
but he did get one,
It worked.
but Benedict's had one too, right?
Did he?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Before.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he hasn't.
Making those,
Maybe
inventing those
Annick.
awesome eggs.
Yeah, his eggs are pretty
Eggs
amazing.
Benedict.
Yum.
Yeah, he did do that.
No, it's for him being smoke.
Smoke.
Go ahead, little hobbit. Try to take me gold. Add a
Okay.
little leprechaun in there, but
Yeah.
Well, it works out that we've gone so long in this. So, what do you guys think? Oh, best picture. Who do you think, hon?
all right.
Who do I think?
What do you think? Who do you want to win, and what do you think will win?
Okay, I want Birdman to win.
Mm.
I'm kind of thinking it will win, though.
You are thinking
I
that.
think
Good.
you might,
Fingers
but
crossed.
I also think it could be close with Boyhood. I think that one's getting a lot of attention as well.
Absolutely.
I want Birdman. I think that was my favorite.
Gotcha. I gotta say, I was floored by a lot of the movies this year. Like even Selma, like a Martin Luther King story.
Yeah, that's good.
It somehow managed to tell a story I didn't know about. And that's the thing. It's just like hearing a part I didn't know much about. It's a very specific story of Martin Luther King. I thought it'd be all about just him. But it's about a simple, very specific spot, and the performance of Martin Luther King was awesome. and not nominated.
I haven't seen that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Theory of Everything. Again, it's a specific story. I think again this is like kind of another situation like the Imitation Game, where the story was not as interesting as what it could have been because they focus on one thing instead of the bigger thing. But I at least enjoyed it. Imitation Game is just kind of fishing too hard. A lot of them I really liked. Actually, all of them I really liked, including American Sniper, which I kind of hate that I liked. But hands down, I'm cheering for Birdman. Boyhood is totally going to win this. That's how it's going to go. And I like, hey, Boyhood, if you win, I'm not even a little bit upset about it. It was good. It was really good. It was probably the second most important one. And I'm also cheering for, Grand Budapest is nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Go Wes Anderson. That's so deserving. And if he wins, I would be the happiest guy on earth. That's the one I'd like to see win the most, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say that. And again, I can't, I'm trying to weigh in, even though I've only seen a couple. But that would be cool if Grand Budapest would win. I don't think it will again.
Yeah.
But hey, imagine if it did, and you'd be like, good job, Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Artsy looking.
Boyhood just seems like a movie that would win an Oscar to me.
Yeah, I figure probably Boyhood.
Yeah, Boyhood is probably, because it's you do develop like a certain attachment to these characters because you see them grow up. You can't
It's
get around
something
it.
never been done.
Yeah.
It
right?
does
So they're
work.
going to have to pay respects for what he did.
That's true.
So
But they could pay respects in the Best Director category.
they could, yeah.
See, you're right. They might do it that way. They might. I think if we have to choose between Birdman and Boyhood for those two categories, I think Best Director Birdman, Best Movie Boyhood.
Yeah.
That would be the way to go for that, in my opinion. I think the directing in Birdman is just too amazing.
I still think Birdman's a better movie.
It is a better movie, I think, but that's just me. A lot of people think it's really boring.
Why?
Yeah, I've been seeing. I don't know.
Maybe
You know
it's
how it
because
is.
we're filmmakers and we think of all like the work that goes behind like a really long time. I don't know.
That's
I
probably
feel
true.
that way
The fact that
when
it doesn't cut could get really boring, and they go out of their way to make it not get boring.
Yeah.
But apparently, for some people, it still does hit the boring note.
Yeah, which I can understand.
But luckily, the Oscars usually aren't against like slow-moving movies, and
That's
Yeah.
true.
so. But yeah, I think probably Birdman and Boyhood. Sorry, I just had
Almost
to
on your
finish my ice
Slurpee
cream.
there.
What are your thoughts, Spoon?
No comment.
It makes sense. He hasn't seen any of these.
Exactly.
And Stevesy, you think Boyhood probably will win?
Yes, but I've never seen it and don't know anything about it.
That's why we had you on the show, buddy.
The only one I've seen is Grand Budapest Hotel, and I don't necessarily think it deserves to win. Not knowing, I thought it was all right, but I don't know if it's the best out of those movies I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not my favorite, even one of his movies, but
Like,
do
I
like it.
love
It's one of
Life
my
Aquatic
favorites.
a lot, but
Oh, I love
and
that
like
so
I wouldn't
much.
say Grand Budapest Hotel isn't a great movie. It's a great movie, but I don't know if it's the best movie this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, you know what? We've already crossed the 1 hour mark. Do you have a hard out? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, so let's go another 10 minutes. This is gonna be the longest episode yet. Real quick, we're gonna go over our last two subjects. Okay, game talk.
Game Talk.
Game talk. Okay, so for gaming, I haven't done much this week. That's why I think this segment can go pretty quick. I finally finished in Platinum Far Cry 4. The ending was a waste of my time. I actually feel like it ruined the game for me. Far Cry 4, we're done. You're not nominated for anything from last year. It was good up until the very ending, and the ending was like you could tell they thought they were being all clever, but at the end, I just didn't give a shit. It was just like, oh, there's the bad guy right in front of you. What do you do? Maybe if I opted not to shoot him, I would have got a different ending. But instead, I opted to shoot him, and it's like, boom, the end, end credits. And I was like, what? And then I come back and I'm like, oh, there's a cutscene after the credits. So I walk out and some guys start talking to me, and they're like, hey man, what's going on? Not much. Okay. And then I walk away from them, and I'm like, what? There's nothing. So no, Far Cry 4, I got the Platinum Trophy, and a lot of bad memories. Thanks a lot. Boom, what have you been playing this week?
Well, not sure. Wait. I'm into Dragon's Dogma again.
The game last week you slandered saying you didn't like it?
I hated it, and now I got a little bit farther. I like it a little bit more. Which isn't saying much, but at least, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Fair enough.
We'll have to see.
You got it, man.
Love-hate relationship.
And I got to the boss of printing and died. I just ran out of printies. 3 times, so I'm pretty...
You got to him, though.
Oh yeah, 3 times.
How bad is it?
It's...
So does that mean you have to start completely over in this game?
Well, I
He can't-
would...
He backed up a
but
save file.
Yeah, this is a save file, so...
Oh, you cheated. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally cheated.
Not hardcore.
No.
We need to see this happen.
Yeah.
Annick?
I have not been playing any games.
But the last game that we've been playing, what was that?
Oh, Lego Lord of the Rings.
There you go, Steven. You might know about this one. It's got
Yeah.
it's
I've
connected to the
never
Lord of the
played
Rings
it, but
universe.
Lord of the Rings is pretty cool. I've heard of that.
How do you like it? What do you think so far?
I like it. We played Lego Marvel Superheroes.
That was great.
That was super fun.
That was actually really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one's, well, I don't know. We've only played like 3 chapters.
Yeah, we haven't played much, but
Yeah.
we should play some more of that this week. It's very good.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, totally. It's the most Lord of the Rings I can handle in my life, Steven. So stop.
Stop being Lord of the Rings, Steven. Just take it to the damn mountain, for goodness sakes, and throw it
Yeah,
in.
yeah, you
It's so easy.
Urukai, motherfucker.
Steven, what have you been playing?
Basically the same old stuff, just sports games and Destiny, which I'm sick of. But I was watching the preview for this The Order game. Like a lot of my
Came out
friends are
today.
saying, like, yeah, it came out today. A lot of my friends are saying, like, man, I want to pick up this game. It looks really fun. I'm just like, doesn't look that fun to me.
It's the reviews are out. It's all over the place. I'm going to be getting it. I've got it's on order. It should be here Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. And I'm going to do a Let's Play video for the channel. So check us out on the YouTubes. You look on the YouTube and you will find my channel, and it will be amazing.
The name of it is Danger Play.
That's it. We haven't even talked about that yet. Our group is now called Danger Play. So
Promo.
Danger Play.
UberCast X is the official podcast of Danger Play. Danger Play is a Let's Play video group, and we're not just doing Let's Plays. We're also going to be doing a bunch of stuff like maybe some group reviews. Get some of these cool people here in the room together.
JPG.
There's gonna be another show called JPG.
Yeah.
As you know, you're familiar with the term role-playing game. Well, we got Joel playing game. We're gonna throw Joel on some video games. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a series where we get Joel to play games. And the fun thing about Joel is he hasn't played many games. Joel, what games have you played this
I'm
week?
like a version.
You're like a version,
A game version.
game version.
What have I played this week? The flute, maybe?
I have a whistle.
I play my whistle every week. I don't know that I played games this week. Steven is my roommate, so sometimes I play his little sporting games. The NBA 2K15. We play that once in a while, and I like
Throw
that.
so many basketballs.
Yeah, balls.
Who's your favorite basketball player, Steven?
That's a tough one. Right now or historically?
Who's the
Right
best
now.
this year?
This year.
Anthony Davis is my favorite this year. He's arguably maybe the best, but
Yeah.
it's hard to say he's the best, like over LeBron and Kevin Durant and all those guys. Like I think the MVP this year will probably be Stephen Curry, though, unless James Harden finds a way to keep scoring 40 points every game.
Come on, James, get off your ass. Okay. So have you played any game this week at all? Or just some sports games with Stevesy?
Yeah, I just kind of watch him play.
You playing your NBA? You got Destiny.
I got a couple of games back for him that were borrowed to someone. So it's
cool.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, I got Shadows of Mordor.
Oh, I gotta borrow that from you. I'll play that someday.
The way you said that, I got them back from somebody. It's like you busted in the door, and they're like playing it, and you're like, "Well, I need the game back, man."
Yeah, and I
And
should
you're like, "Take it from me."
If I'm being honest, I didn't know the person that I got them back from. So I didn't really get them back. I just kind of took games from someone.
Steve didn't even lend them to that person.
So, Mikey, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to hit you that many times.
It's my prostate. It flares up sometimes. Okay.
I tried.
You know
There
what?
go. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for game talk. We didn't have much time for that. The news now.
This week in the news. With John Blizzard.
Okay, so it's time for the news. You're laughing, but did you know we put in jingles in the
Oh,
last
I
one? We started
figured.
doing jingles now, so yeah.
Jingle you.
Comment below if you like the jingles. Okay. First off, yes, Order 1886 came out today. I'm going to be doing a Let's Play video of it. It's only apparently 5 hours long. It's the best looking game out there at all. But at the same time, some people are complaining that movie's a little too slow. So we'll see what that's all about. I'm going to let you know what I think, hopefully next week. Neil Blomkamp, director of District 9.
12.
I forgot what it was
Wait,
called.
seriously?
I was thinking District 13 because it's another movie.
So Chappie. Like, you can talk about Chappie.
But District 9,
Oh yeah.
Neil Blomkamp, director of District 9, is directing the next Alien movie.
Oh,
officially.
Interesting.
That could be cool.
Tim Allen.
Right?
Or Scooby.
Tim Allen totally ripped off Scooby-Doo. Just figuring that out now.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary stuff,
Oh,
right?
ruined my childhood.
So
That's
I'm
cool,
I'm
though.
thinking that could actually work out pretty
Yeah,
well.
what do you think of that?
He's good to people.
Yeah, he seems to be a good director, like with that genre.
Genre.
Because he was doing that Chappie movie, right? Am I correct about that one?
Yeah, I think it's
With the robot.
It's a rap. It's
What?
A robot soldier.
It's like a humanoid, like it has feelings.
Yeah, these kind of hippie scientists get a hold of it, like one of these like prototypes robot soldiers, and they teach it to be human. They
Really?
give it AI, and they teach it like it's like a toddler, and they're teaching it, and it's learning, and they're like, the army's like, whoa, this is a bad idea, we better destroy it. And he's like, I don't want to die, so he's fighting back.
So it's basically short circuits, but like
Yeah!
Johnny
Oh
Five,
my
stay
God.
alive. But now it's I am Chappie, I am feelings. I don't remember what he said.
That
It
sounds
was like
cool.
a famous line.
Well, Neil Blomkamp is an excellent director. Our last news article, I'm sorry, I'm blasted through. Our last news thing is they released a picture of Aquaman for the new movies.
Oh, man.
So,
Oh, I think I saw that on my
Showing us all
Facebook.
now?
He looks like Joakim Noah.
That's a basketball player.
oh.
Hey, is that the guy from
Yeah, it's called
Game
Drogo.
of Thrones?
yeah.
Oh, what a guy. He looks so badass.
Yeah, he does look badass.
He doesn't look like Aquaman, though.
Yeah, is he supposed to look like that?
No.
'Cause I felt like Aquaman was a little more
Blonde
like,
haired
sleek
and
and like...
Sleek and
Okay.
lame.
Jason Momoa.
He looks like Zeus or something. Or,
Yeah.
Poseidon.
Poseidon,
If he was Poseidon, that'd be something. But I'm totally down with his casting. I'm okay with changing race for Aquaman. It kind of makes sense because he's from under the sea and everything. I mean,
Under the sea.
do people on this? Hey, wow. Does everyone all over the world, from every planet and everything in the DC universe, have to be a white person?
Wait, what
Hopefully
race is
not.
he? I thought he was white.
No.
I think he's something like Hawaiian
Samoan.
or
Oh,
he's
Samoan.
Probably
something
same
like
as
that.
Noah, probably.
But the problem with it is, I mean, they're so focused on blanding the colors. They even painted his skin black and white.
Okay.
Like, they're just, like, not letting any color happen. Aquaman's supposed to be, like, kind of... I'm not saying he has to be wearing bright orange and yellow and green and whatnot, but I'm just saying, any color would be nice. A joke going around on my Facebook, we got Monster Mike from Where Monsters Dwell fame, who's been posting pictures of Rob Zombie saying, hey, here's a picture of him on his throne. It's Rob Zombie sitting in a chair, like, snorting. And they look the same. I actually, when I first saw it, I was like, that's a weird picture. I was like, that's kind of an odd picture to have. He's got longer hair here. Oh, wait, he's got an X on his forehead. It's Rob Zombie. But anyway, I don't...
cast him.
Yeah.
You're right, though. The point is, everyone always laughs at Aquaman. They won't laugh at Aquaman anymore.
That's true.
You know what? Fine.
Especially the girls, they'll be like, "Oh, Aquaman."
Isn't that the thing though? Like all the
That's true.
superheroes, they've all gone to become like really sexy, hunky, like super muscular.
Other
Which is
than
maybe
John's
good
favorite
because it's a
X-Men.
shift in sexualizing. Usually, it's like women. Women are seen as like, oh, take your shirt off and be sexy, and now
It's switched.
men are. Yeah.
Magic Mike is now the thing.
So I feel worse about
Can
my
you imagine
body
if
than
someone?
ever.
Could you imagine? Really? Could you imagine if someone made a movie now? Like I know there was striptease, and I know there was showgirls back in the day when we were kids. But could you imagine if someone made Magic Mike, but it was about a girl dancing and stripping? At this point, like right now, feminists would be all over that shit, right? They would.
Especially, well, if it was done in the because
Depends how it's done.
yeah, if
I
it's
just feel like
done,
it's-
if it's done in the same way,
well,
because Magic Mike is very much done to be a
glorifying it.
sex object. For
That's it.
women.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
You can't. So now it's like the standards like switching over, and like I just wonder. I always think like someday, like, is it going to be like one of those things where men start having body image problems because of all these
I
movies?
just said that. I
Yeah,
feel very.
I
I feel
would
bad
too.
about my body more than ever.
I wish I was built like Superman. I'm working on it. You know, that's then the hairline comes into play, and I'll never look like Superman.
Well,
Goddamn hairline.
No, but
I don't look like
They
Walt
sell
Disney.
plugs.
I keep trying to look like Walt Disney, but Steven keeps doing that easily. I need to get
Nice.
plugs. That's it. They're healthy. Anyway, okay. Anybody else have anything to plug? Do you have anything to plug, sir? If you want.
my bathtub.
Wow.
Sorry about the joke.
Okay, is everybody
No, I'm good.
knows
I'm
anything?
just stoked to be on UberCast X. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna keep listening and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Fu-
See, yeah.
Stay golden, pony. UberCast X.
Aw, that's the sweetest thing you've ever said to me. If you are interested in knowing more about UberCast X, check us out on Twitter at UberCastX. Also go on to our website, ubercastx.com. That's where you'll find the newest in UberCast Xness. And if you... I'm going to put a link in the links section that leads to our YouTube channel. And you can see our stupid Let's Plays, whereupon Clayton and I have already played Altered Beast, and I've been playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And Joel over here is going to be starting to play games maybe as soon as tonight. We'll see.
That's right.
That's right.
know
So,
what that
anyway, that's the show. Take us out, Boone.
Remember, folks, to stay sharp and keep your eyes open. Yeah!
I think I broke it.
Hello, folks! My powers!
Say something, Steve. Say something.
Steven.
Hi.